Good evening, everybody. This is the sixth full week of training complete in my Ironman series. Welcome if you've been watching for the past 6 videos. This is a pretty exciting moment for me because, it's just a testament to the hard work and dedication that's gone into this so far. So, 6 weeks, not missing a single workout, and progressing extremely well, not without our ups and downs and minor hits and bruises here and there, but couldn't be happier with the results so far. So, just a slight brag as we get started on this video. As we usually do, I'll dive right into our training log for the past 7 days, and then I will speak about our training insight of the week, which has to do with making noticeable progress, and sometimes that progress not being so noticeable as you're in the thick of training. So let's dive right into it. Starting on Monday, we had a 50-minute maintenance run. That is at around a 10-minute to 10-minute and 28-second pace, followed by some strength training protocol that my coaches programmed for me. So, as you know, I haven't been going into much detail on these strength training protocols, but this past week specifically, I was asking my coaches what the intent is, just to give you a little bit more information if you want to devise your own strength training protocol, or if you want mine, then I can make a separate video showing a sample of that. But the main goal of this strength training protocol, as I may have hinted in the past, is to really reinforce those joints and muscles that we're using a lot of, and mostly the minor muscles. So what I've been noticing in the past week or so is that this specific strength protocol is geared towards the glute medius, so the glute medialis right on the back side of your glute. If you have ever noticed that you're feeling some knee pain, or your form feels off while you're running, or even like you're getting an excessive burning in your glutes, oftentimes that's due to a weak or unstable glute med. It can also happen that if you have had a knee injury in the past, while several muscles will atrophy pretty rapidly, depending on the severity of that injury. But in my specific case, my VMO, which is basically that teardrop muscle on your quad, atrophied to almost nothing, and that in turn also affected the glute med on my left side. So without my glute providing stability to my knee, and my VMO not guiding my patellar in the right track, it could just end up being a recipe for disaster. So in order to maintain stability in this knee joint, you'll actually work your glute med and your VMO muscle, another smaller muscle that, luckily with triathlon training gets hit pretty well on the bike. So that's the general intent of these strength training protocols, and they seem to be changing monthly. So the first 2 weeks in a training month, they'll be a little bit less intense and less reps per set, and usually less sets. But then the second 2 weeks in that month period, the training protocol will typically double. So it lends well to a nice step function in our training. That's pretty much it with regard to the strength protocol. But like I said, there's always contrary opinions out there as to what you should be doing in your training to minimize injury. This is just one of many things that you can do to minimize injury, aside from regular stretching, rolling out on a foam roller. Those are pretty much my big three. So these strength sessions, stretching, and foam rolling, and that's been getting me where I want to go so far. So I wouldn't add anything in addition to that, just for time's sakes. So moving on to Tuesday. Tuesday was an hour and 15-minute ride. And, I'm affectionately regarding Tuesdays as my hell day of the week, because Tuesdays are when my coaches schedule my interval training on the bike, which I'm fairly new to interval training on the bike and have found that it is absolute hell. So the specific intervals that my coaches have me doing on these hellish Tuesdays are, this past week was 4 5-minute intervals in zone 4. So for me, zone 4 is approximately 230 watts. And I'll tell you, they started me on these intervals doing 3-minute intervals in the same power zone. And at that time, I thought that it was a lot. It's really no joke. The sweat is literally pouring onto my floor. I finally got smart and started to put a towel underneath my bike so I don't have to mop the floor every time that I do this workout. But absolutely insane. So moving on to Wednesday. Wednesday was an hour run featuring 5 3-minute intervals at my threshold pace. Currently my threshold pace is around a 9-minute mile. I tend to, because I programmed this workout into my Garmin, so it'll beep every time that I have to do the next interval, and then beep again when I'm done, and then it'll let me know if my paces are correct or not, or if I'm running within range. So I tend to run these a little bit faster than I'm supposed to, because maybe it's just me, but I have a hard time dialing myself into a plus and minus 10-second range on a pace at my current level. So it's kind of hard for me to run between a 9-minute and a 9-minute and 22-second pace right now. I think as I get further into the training and my body starts to get even more conditioned, that this modulation of my pace will improve, but right now not there yet. So I'll dip into the 850s and bounce between that 910 to 850 just to be on the safe side there. These intervals really aren't too bad for me. I've been enjoying them much more than my bike intervals. And since they're back-to-back days, Tuesday, Wednesday are both interval days and speed days coincidentally, it's nice to know that after the Wednesday day, I'll have pretty easy until I hit my brick and my long run on the weekend. That being said, my Thursday was an hour and 15-minute ride at an easy pace, with that same strength protocol that I did on Monday. Now Friday was a rest day, and is always a rest day. I'm thinking it's always going to be a rest day unless something really screws up my week in terms of work or family obligations or things like that. But so far, fingers crossed, everything's been good on that end. So Friday rest days are holding strong. And there's really no reason for me to be so adamant about holding the Friday rest day, but so far, if you see my Strava, it's just nice to see that on my training plan, it's perfect right now. So if you look at my training days mapped out on my calendar, it's a perfect, every day's hit, and then Fridays down the line is just nothing. So I'm liking that, and I don't really want to give that up just yet. So we're holding on for the most of superficial reasons. So no real reason there, but it's a fun one for me. So moving on to Saturday, I think I mentioned what a reverse brick is in the last video, so I'm not going to dig too much into that. But we did a 20-minute warm-up run, followed by T1, which is the first transition. Minimized that to about 10 minutes. It took a little longer than I wanted to because my training nutrition that I ordered online hadn't made it here yet, so I had to do my warm-up run to the gas station, which luckily I live right across the street from, grab a few Gatorades, just for fuel on my long bike ride. So I followed after the 20-minute run. It was an hour and 45 minutes on the bike. And after my last long ride, I asked my coaches how I should be handling in-ride nutrition to get my body acclimated to just burning calories on the go. And they said, and you can write this down for yourself, this is a general rule, you will modify this like slightly based on how your body reacts to the nutrition that you're bringing in. But the rule that they gave me was you'll have your normal breakfast, so eat something carby, something not too heavy, like you can have oatmeal or toast with peanut butter and honey is another favorite. You can have that about a half hour before you get started, just to give your body a chance to get moving. Have some water to get started, a little bit of electrolytes, and just whatever you would need in your normal pre-run routine. Then following that, for any exercises that are going to last more than an hour, so this Saturday run and ride is a perfect example of that. For within every hour, you want to finish one bottle of nutrition, so whatever you're choosing as your nutrition supplement in the liquid form. For me, my coaches recommended that I try, it's made by Goo, so Goo Energy, the same as like those Goo gels that a lot of people use. It's Goo Roctane, so that's going to be a mixed drink that I'm going to pre-mix and put into my exercise bottles to have during these workouts. So it's one bottle per hour of exercise of that, and the first Goo you'll take at minute 45, and then every 30 minutes after that. And that might seem a little bit high, or high rate, but it's just a suggestion. So my typical practice, if I were doing this independently without their guidance, I'd probably have done a bottle per hour, still the same, and a Goo every 45 minutes. But like I said, it all depends on your body. Your body's going to tell you if you're over consuming or under consuming. And the purpose of getting that in now during training is your body really has to get acclimated to burning and utilizing this fuel as you're exercising. And you don't want the first time that you're trying to do this be on race day. If you do that, you're going to get severe gastrointestinal issues. I prepared myself on my first Ironman go around, and I'll tell you, my insides were completely wrecked. Like, I had a stomach ache for pretty much the whole marathon, and the very last 15-20 miles of the bike, and it was painful. Any sip of water would absolutely just seize my insides, and I just kind of had to grin and bear it and keep moving. It was a very painful experience, so I'm taking their advice now, and I'd rather over-consume and get my body acclimated to that in training than destroy or feel destroyed during the race and have another race like my first one. I can't blame that for my performance. I still finished, but it would have been much nicer to finish not in severe pain, at least gastrointestinally, because my whole body was wrecked in addition to that. And finally, Sunday was an 8 mile run, with the last full mile being a 95% effort push. So the first 7 miles were run at about a 10-minute and 20-second pace, my maintenance pace right now. And the final mile was run at 8-minute and 12-second pace. So very good for me. And considering it was the last of 8 miles that I was able to pull the energy to do an 8-minute pace, made me feel really good, because I don't know if anyone is watching. If you remember one of the earlier videos where I did my run test, which was a 2-mile all-out effort, my pace on the 2-mile was about 8 minutes and 45 seconds, 8 minutes and 50 seconds, and that's the pace that my coaches based my current numbers off of. So with me doing substantially more than that at mile 8 on this last long run was it was nice. So this relates heavily to the training insight of this week, which is sometimes as you're in the thick of training, it's kind of hard to count your wins, right? So it's not the easiest to zoom out and notice all the progress that you're actually making. Like, yeah, you'll be increasing mileage, and maybe some workouts feel a little bit easier, but at the end of the day, like, there's nothing that's really blatantly in your face saying, like, okay, you're making really good progress right now. So that's how training is built out by design. Like, you're not doing your all-out effort in every workout or every week, sometimes every month. Like, you're not going to go at a 95% to 100% in any given training month. So it's hard to know what your new max is when you're not doing it. But you just need to trust the process and run at the paces that, say, you prescribe yourself, or you have someone help advise you on, or a coach, and do the training plan as prescribed. And sometime down the line, you'll be prescribed an effort that will make that progress very clear to you. So in this specific case for me, that 8-minute and I think it was 12-second pace turned out to be like my PR for the past 2 years. And again, it's not an incredible pace, but it's my PR for the past 2 years because I suffered from an extreme knee injury about 2.5-3 years ago that just took away all my speed and has made running a painful experience ever since. So for me to hit this pace and hit it in a way where it was at the end of an 8-mile effort, I'm very proud of that, and I'm taking the time to take a step back and recognize that progress. So I hope that if you are in the middle or at the beginning of a training block, one, you set your mentality straight now that you're not running every training day to hit PRs. But that being said, just because you're not hitting PRs doesn't mean that you're not improving. So you are improving, and you going through and hitting every single workout, not missing days, not taking it by how you feel, but actually committing to the process and just getting it done, you're going to reap the results at the end of that. And that's a near guarantee as long as you don't injure yourself. So with that being said, I hope this information was helpful. If these videos are getting a little bit too long, then let me know if you just want the insight, or if you just want the training log for the week, and I'll adjust. But for now, happy training.